What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Brawl Stars video. Today, we are going to be talking about the balance changes that are coming very, very soon. This is the first sneak peek for the next update. Very excited about that. Cannot wait to see what happens. Obviously, Roundtable just came out. We got a few little spoilers from that, so that's going to be fun to talk about over the next few days. But with that said, guys, we're going to try something a little bit different this time around. Now, a lot of balance changes are coming out. You guys can go and check the link down in the description below if you want to read all of them and just, make your own mind up on how significant they're going to be. With that said, I do want to go over a few in particular, and I'm not going to really talk about the ones that I don't think are going to be that influential in the meta of the game. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. So yeah, guys, we're going to go over each of these balance changes that I think are very, very significant that will end up changing the meta of the game. The first one I think is very significant and important to talk about is going to be Bo. Now, he had a sort of give and take with his balance changes. As you guys saw, he has a visibility range reduction on his star power from 6 tiles to 4 tiles. Now, if you guys don't know, Bo's star power does give him a massive amount of visibility in bushes, which means that he's an auto-include with his star power on pretty much every single Snake Prairie team and other maps that are densely populated with a lot of bushes. With that said, as you guys can see, they do want to sort of dial that back, make it so maybe he's not necessarily an auto-include in those particular maps, and I can absolutely appreciate that. And in this case, they've chosen to actually add a little bit of damage onto every single arrow shot by his main attack, which means that he's going to have a total of 60 damage per arrow shot, increase 420 to 480, and that's going to mean 180 damage total increase per attack if every single arrow hits your opponent. That's pretty significant, guys, and I have to say I really do appreciate what they're doing here because it means that we are going to see him more viable in more maps, but less viable by a little tiny bit by having only 2 tiles less range down to 4, where originally it was 6. That means that he's going to be a little bit less of a auto-include in maps like Snake Prairie or just bush heavy maps in general. Now, the next balance change I really want to talk about and spend some time on is probably going to be the most talked about one in this entire balance change update, and that is going to be Barley. Now, Barley did get quite a few buffs here, and that's worth mentioning for sure. So his star power healing goes up by 50% from 200 to 300. That's very significant. If you think about it, there are a lot of situations where Barley is running away from a particular attack and he gets clipped by something and barely gets killed. Maybe by only a few hundred extra damage, he gets taken out. And in this case, it's not going to happen because you're going to have an extra 300 HP after a full clip of ammo, and that can stack up over time, meaning that you're going to have more HP healing over time, meaning that ultimately there are going to be a lot of situations where maybe you don't notice it, but it is going to be a very significant change that will save you and possibly win you games. Next up, Barley's main attack damage has been increased from 600 to 640, meaning a double tick now gives you an extra 80 damage, and his super damage per second is going to be from 480 to 640, making it an even 640 across the board for every vial hit. Now, that's going to be significant because he also got a very, very huge nerf in the sense that the vials don't stack with his super anymore. For instance, if you got hit with a super before this update, you get hit with every single vial individually, and that's how the damage would register. So you'd end up with a huge amount of damage just splashed on you instantly, and there's nothing you can do about it. In this case, it's not going to work like that anymore. The spread's first off going to be larger at close distances, and on top of that, the super bottles are not going to stack up on each other. It's only going to be the one overall damage output from the super, meaning that you're not going to have just over-the-top amounts of 640 damage rolling in every single second because multiple vials stacked up on each other. It all acts as one vial, even though it's not necessarily going to be one vial, which is really important to note because the damage output is not going to be as huge as it is right now in a lot of cases, but it's still going to have a decent damage output over a very large area, which really means that his usage case in Heist is going to be a lot different than it already was, but at the same time, it's still going to be really, really powerful in, gem grab and things like that, where there are some maps where he is very, very meta and relevant. So there were some buffs, there were some nerfs there, and I'm not entirely sure where he's going to shake out. I do think he's not going to be as played in Heist, probably still played somewhat, but not as played in Heist. And at the same time, I do think he's going to be even more relevant in some gem grab maps where maybe he was teetering on the edge of meta. Darryl had a very significant star power shield protection increase from 30% to 40%. That is really, really good because Darryl was already pretty good in most people's estimation after you get used to the new way of playing him. And on top of that, he had a main damage per shell output increase by 20, taking it from 260 to 280. He's a shotgunner, so he shoots a lot of shells that can stack up over a very significant amount of damage. And I do think that that's going to be pretty meta relevant over time, considering Darryl was already pretty meta relevant in a lot of cases. Specifically, I see him in gem grab a lot. I see him occasionally in bounty do very, very well. So I definitely think there are a lot of use cases for him now. And this buff is probably going to push him even more into the meta than he already was. Tara had a very significant change as well with her star power pet. The damage goes from 200 to 400, double per attack, and the health is going to go up from 2,000 to 2,400. So all around some significant buffs on her star power, meaning it's a little bit more damaging, a little bit more relevant, a little bit harder to deal with, and a little bit more urgent to deal with at the same time. 400 damage per attack, having such a high movement speed already means that you're basically going to be forced to prioritize that damage output just running at you, continually doing damage, or you're going to go down to it. Next up, guys, we've got the most highly anticipated nerf of the entire balance change update. We've been going through a Leon winter recently. It has been ridiculous how dominant Leon has been in pretty much every part of this game, and Supercell's nerfing him as a result. We kind of figured that was going to happen. So the decreased super invisibility time going to be the lesser of the two nerfs, in my opinion, taking it down from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, only a 2-second nerf. Probably not going to be that relevant all in all, but at the same time, it's something you definitely need to take into account when you're choosing if you're going to run from the bottom of the map all the way to the top of the map and try to take out someone on the back line. You know, it definitely is going to be a little bit more difficult to do that with 2 seconds less of invisibility to take advantage of. With that said, he also had a significant nerf to his main attack damage at close range, going from 500 to 460, and obviously that compounds for every single, in particular, shuriken that shoots out for each attack. So that's going to compound to be a significant nerf over time. And will that make him irrelevant? No, it won't by any means. Leon fundamentally changed the way you have to approach this game, because there could be a little invisible chameleon boy running on the back line, ready to take out your, long-range DPS brawler on your team, or ready to just take you out in general in like a solo showdown or duo showdown situation. And that's going to be something that never really changes as long as he's in the game. He's going to be someone that you need to account for when you're thinking about how you're playing the game. But with that said, will this make it a little bit harder for the new Leon player that just pulled him randomly to get in and take advantage of the fact that people just really can't deal with him at early trophy ranges? It'll make it a little bit more difficult for him. I still don't think it's going to be the nerf that makes him, come down to earth with the rest of the other brawlers. I think his win rate's still going to be very significant, very high, and he's still going to be very much played in high trophy games because people could take advantage of his invisibility still, get close to the opponents that don't have a lot of HP or don't have a close range damage output, and just take them out just like that, So I don't think this is the end-all be-all nerf for him. I don't think this is going to make him irrelevant. I think he's still going to be very meta. At the same time, this brings him a little bit down, closer to earth. I still don't think he's there, but he's closer. On top of that, guys, Rico got an increased main attack damage output per bullet by 20, going from 280 to 300 even. Do I think this is going to put him right back where he was before the 3D environment update, making the maps a little bit wider? I don't know if that's going to do it or not. I kind of doubt it, but at the same time, any buff to Rico right now puts him in a better position, and I can absolutely appreciate that. 20 damage doesn't sound like a lot, but he shoots a lot of bullets for every attack and every super, so it's kind of important to take that into account, and I do think it's going to be more of a significant change, more of a significant buff than most people will think just by looking at only a 20 damage buff. So yeah, guys, if I missed a balance change that you think is going to be meta relevant for some reason, let me know down in the comment section below. Would love to hear it. Also would love to hear your thoughts on the ones I did mention in this video. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Just let me know down in the comments. But as always, update season is rolling around. I cannot wait to see what else is coming in the next update. Obviously, we saw with the community roundtable, there is some cool stuff going on behind the scenes. We just don't know everything at this point, so can't wait to see what goes down with that. But that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. As always, let me know if you have any ideas for future videos you'd like to see on the channel down in the comment section below. I will see you in the next one. Till then, peace.